Tim Brakel, music education, but this is not an arts-related question. One of the things, one of the things that I truly believe in as a teaching philosophy is that we can't prepare our students for our past, but for their future. And one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of school districts moving toward at least some implementation of some form of understanding by design, in part as they're moving toward the guaranteed viable curriculum and how you do transferable skills. And I wondered by what degrees maybe those principles, either explicitly or implicitly, have impacted your district. Lots of ways of trying to narrow the curriculum to go deeper in a subject and be able to use those transferable skills and not cover as broad of material, but to get a real understanding so that a student who might be at elementary school X would have the same curriculum and same understanding and knowledge as a student from Z school, especially as they're moving on into the junior high and high school and on into the career workforce.
And just bringing in consistency a little bit to what, rather than that kind of local school idea and bringing it across, we have had a lot of conversation over the last several years about, and we have movement within our district. We're seeing more movement within our district, and if I'm answering the question a little bit, and the commonalities that we have to have, at least among our elementary schools, because we just have 3 that people move around in, is critical. And there's a lot of, in our district, a lot of history and tradition within those schools, and sometimes it's hard to break away from some of those histories and traditions and folks that have been there for a long time to change a way something is done. But with that being said, the way we've moved to technology has really helped in a way, because we're purchasing things. Textbooks are not necessarily always textbooks. They're online, and we have a lot of consistency, and we've forced ourselves to come together and have more collaboration amongst those folks, because it's critical that, because nowadays everybody communicates. So one parent talks to another parent, and if there's 3 completely different experiences and one's kind of better, I guess. So I don't know if I'm tackling the question, but we hope that whatever skills our kids, they can transfer to wherever they go, whether they move out and go to another district or to another school, because there's some core things that every kid has to know. So
I think we're very fortunate in Northwest Ohio. The districts work well together. We had a grant where the districts came together and wrote some online curriculum, and there's a lot of cross-pollination that happens. I mean, when we hear something happening in most of the districts over there, except, no, just kidding, Mr. Hassler. No, we send our teachers out to learn, because we call it the guaranteed and viable curriculum, to ensure what is every student getting, both horizontally and vertically. And so that is constant work every time we have a course or revision come up that we engage in, both at the local level within our district, but I think our districts do a nice job of then collaborating with one another to say, okay, how did you get X result in this specific standard, or who is struggling with this, or what are some ideas, and really sharing those best practices. We're very fortunate having superintendent colleagues in other parts of the state. I can say that they're not as well connected, and I just feel fortunate that we have the relationships we do here in Northwest Ohio.
As a part of that program, the teachers and staff had conversations in regards to depth of knowledge of the content, and I think one of the benefits was that collaborative discussions that took place during that process to understand that we can't just skim over the material and what higher level learning can take place in the classroom based on the content. There's still, though, the emphasis from the state, whether it be from the Ohio Department of Education or primarily from the legislature, because they're really making the decisions now about what we're doing in our schools, is more. It's not about depth of knowledge. It's about what else can we do, unfortunately, in some cases. So that's kind of the reality of the world we're living in right now.
Yep. Just to add, within our district, we have within our own inner mainframe teachers have access, that we use our curriculum people to develop the mapping and the alignment, as well as, in essence, a generality of the pacing. So it gives a good sense, in essence, through the course of the year, you should be somewhere within the standard that should cover. One of the things that we do, that we've added, and we're in the process of doing it now, is we're examining all the item analysis per grade level to be able to determine which item and standard need to be more in depth and slowing that pace down throughout the year. So we had to focus on math, and then the various grade levels are going to have a different item analysis they're going to focus on based on the students' results from the previous assessment period. So kind of helps within that, and what we call TBT, which is teacher-based team, which is grade level meeting, is those individuals are having those dialogues about where they're at in regard to the standards, at the same time are helping others who are understanding the mapping as well as the pacing, or giving best strategies, in essence, of how you're able to engage the standard in a more effective way with the students, that you're progressing at a pace that ultimately allows you to cover, in essence, of the amount of standards that's necessary.